Chapter 52, Sylva versus White Wolf. The arena remembered him. Even before he stepped in, the noise had already begun. Coins exchanged hands. Names whispered. White Wolf again. Rank 1. He hasn't lost. The betting tables shifted instantly. He became the favorite. Again. But the looks he received were not admiration. He doesn't bow, thinks he's above everyone. They'll enjoy watching him fall. White Wolf stepped into the arena. Calm, unbothered, unchanged. Across from him, Sylva entered. Her presence felt different. Alive, natural, but her eyes hesitated. The signal rose. Begin. Sylva didn't move. She lowered her gaze. Sylva, soft, conflicted. I don't want to fight. The crowd erupted. What? Is she serious? Sylva stepped back. Sylva, I forfeit. Silence. Then, White Wolf spoke. White Wolf, calm, almost amused. That won't be fun. Sylva froze. White Wolf, if you quit like this, what was all that talk about hope for? Her fingers tightened, but she didn't move. Sylva, it doesn't matter. A pause. White Wolf stepped forward and struck. A sharp blow, not lethal, but undeniable. Sylva staggered. Her eyes widened. White Wolf, cold, cutting. Prove it. A pause. White Wolf, prove your hope means something. Something snapped. Sylva's gaze lifted. Not hesitant anymore. Alive. She moved. Their first clash echoed. A clean strike from Sylva, met by White Wolf's block. Then another. Then another. Steel met wood. Impact after impact. Sylva adapted quickly. Her movements, fluid, unpredictable. Nature itself seemed to follow her rhythm. White Wolf responded. Precise. Minimal. Every movement. Intentional. Blood appeared. A shallow cut across White Wolf's arm. A thin line across Sylva's cheek. Neither stopped. Then, Sylva stepped back. Her breathing changed. Her eyes sharpened. Sylva determined louder. Then I'll go all out. The ground trembled. Roots erupted. Massive. Violent. Spikes formed instantly. Vines twisted like living weapons. The arena transformed. Not a battlefield anymore. A forest of destruction. Sylva stood at its center. Like nature itself had taken form. The crowd went silent. What is that? White Wolf watched. Still. Then, his gaze shifted. Blood hunt. Activated. The world sharpened. Every movement. Clear. Every threat. Visible. Sylva attacked. Roots surged from below. Spikes descended from above. Vines struck from every direction. For a moment, White Wolf moved. Perfectly. Dodging everything. Untouched. But then, it happened. A shift. Sylva changed pattern. The roots didn't attack randomly. They converged. All at once. One point. White Wolf stepped. But this time, he was forced to block. Impact. The ground cracked beneath him. The crowd gasped. He blocked. For the first time, he didn't evade. He resisted. Sylva saw it. Her eyes widened. Sylva, shocked, realizing, I can reach him. She pushed harder. More roots. More pressure. More control. Not chaos. Precision. White Wolf's stance lowered. He adjusted. And then, he moved again. Faster. Cleaner. Every attack. Avoided again. The pressure faded. Sylva's breath broke. Frustration rose. Sylva, angry, shouting, Is this all I have? I'm giving everything. Why won't you even try? Silence. White Wolf watched her, understanding. Then, he disappeared. Gone. The arena froze. Then, impact. Sylva's body slammed into the wall. The entire arena shook. Debris exploded outward. Dust filled the air. Silence. When it cleared, Sylva stood. Barely. Her hand raised. Surrender. White Wolf stood before her, his hand gripping her neck. Firm, Controlled. White Wolf calm. Enough. The fight ended. Above, the guild leader laughed. Loud. Mocking. See, women can't match men, no matter how hard they try. For a moment, everything stopped. Then, White Wolf vanished and returned. Same place. No one reacted. Except one. The guild leader. Sweat rolled down his face. His breath shook. Because something had touched him. For a moment. Something that could have ended him. And disappeared. Only a few understood. Lysara. The woman in white. And something unseen. Because what just happened was not possible. And yet, it happened. The announcement echoed. Winner. White Wolf. The arena reacted. But the wait remained. White Wolf turned. Sylva walked beside him. Silent. Back in the waiting hall, White Wolf sat down. Unbothered. Sylva stood still. Too still. White Whale approached immediately. White Whale, suspicious. What did you do to her? White Wolf. Nothing. White Whale narrowed her eyes. Then turned to Sylva. White Whale. Hey, what happened? Sylva shook her head. But her face burned red. Completely. She couldn't speak. Because her mind was replaying everything. The moment. His hand on her neck. The closeness. And, for a single second, their lips touched. Barely. Unnoticed by him. Unforgettable to her. Her heart raced again. White Wolf's voice echoed in her mind. White Wolf, don't worry. I'm already using my skill. I just learned to hide it. Her eyes widened. Not from the fight. From him. But all she could think about was that moment. And how close he had been. And just like that, the fight ended. Not with chaos, but with control. White Wolf stood untouched. Sylva stood stronger. But this wasn't the end. Because while one group has already fought, another is already preparing. One who seeks power to free her mother. Another who seeks strength to prove his innocence to the world. So tell me, what drives someone further? Love or truth? If you're part of this journey, subscribe, turn on notifications, share with others, and tell me your thoughts in the comments. Because this story is only getting deeper.